The next theme we will explore is colonialism. Africa has faced European imperialist aggression, diplomatic pressures, military invasion, and eventual conquest and colonization. Simultaneously, African societies resisted oppressive rule and foreign domination. Togolese author Ezem Kojo describes the condition of the African as torn away from one's own past, propelled into a universe fashioned from the outside that suppresses one's values, and dumbfounded by a cultural invasion that marginalized the African. The African is today the deformed image of others. The songs you will hear next will encompass the continental struggle and subordination. But in the midst of all these things, power and promise.
Why have we been punished like so? Our families,
gone.
Our riches,
stolen.
Our rights,
taken.
What are we?
Enslaved.
Who are we?
Survivors. Why have we been punished like so?
Thina, Sizwe.
Salakao. Salakao famatau sete hu. Ulifamanitane mane. Mane tile kumane. Salakao rawene. Salakao famatau sete hu.
Simaha vari mi soruko tafana kau mavalalu izau mali lo nirahi fatsinari tuahatani etwani misolu wenye mandani tana jumanegi abusiaba tiana ketima fuete hu.
Ulifamanitane mane. Mane tila kumane. Salakao rawene. Salakao famatau sete hu.
Simaha vari mi soruko tafana kau mavalalu izau mali lo nirahi fatsinari tuahatani etwani izau mali
Asimbonanga, Mandela Thina,
La pekona, la pedleli kona.
Asimbonanga,
Mandela Thina. La pekona, la pedleli kona.
Asimbonanga,
Mandela Thina. La pekona, la pedleli kona.
Asimbonanga,
Mandela Thina. La pekona, la pedleli kona.
oh hey wena,
Ewena,
hey wena,
ewena now. Sofika nini lasyakona, lasyakona.
iti hey wena,
Ewena,
oh hey wena,
ewena now. Sofika nini lasyakona, lasyakona.
ngoba simbonanga,
Asimbonanga Mandela Thina. La pekona, la pedleli kona.
asimbonanga,
Asimbonanga Mandela Thina. La pekona, la pedleli kona.
oh oh oh, oh oh ungacisha lomlilo, kodwa thina sohamba size sifike ekhaya. Oh Biko, 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 oh Biko, 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 oh oh oh.
The thing that distinguishes slavery in Africa from Atlantic slavery is race. Europeans set in motion a system of slavery that was predicated on the idea that certain people were marked as enslavable.
We've learned a great deal about the Middle Passage in the last 40 years or so. The volume of the trade involved the removal of about 12.5 million people from the African continent.
The Middle Passage was the middle leg of a voyage that starts in Europe. The first passage is from Europe to Africa. The Middle Passage is the journey from Africa to America. And then the third passage is the journey back from America to Europe.
The Middle Passage could take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. Men and women were separated. Men typically were held in the lower belly of the ship. The roof, if you would, was quite low, probably about 4 feet high. So people couldn't stand. African men were shackled together, and they were packed so closely together in a spoon-like position. And they would stay like that for pretty much the entire journey.
You're talking about hundreds of people. You're at 120 degrees. It smells terrible. There are actually people dying around you, which has to be a traumatic experience for everybody on board.
Maybe 10% of voyages, we know there was some attempt to rise up, to kill the crew, to try to turn the boat around, to change their destinies. Historians have a hard time capturing what the Middle Passage must have felt like for enslaved men and women. It's a voyage that is deeply disorienting. It's a voyage to a place that you can't anticipate. You don't know what's going to happen to you. I don't think we have adequate words to capture that experience.
I know this ain't home, but it's where you gotta be.
The Quantity of Freedom, written by Dara, Sontan. There must have not been enough freedom to go around when they chained us within the confines of our own land, uprooted us from our soil before we were ripe, told us how they could plant us better on richer soil, forgot to mention how we would toil, forgot to mention how we would ache, forgot to mention how flesh turns black in the sun like plantains. There must have not been enough freedom to go around. As they sat at dinner tables in our homes, shared yams between themselves as they carved definitions for black, for Negro, for African, later to carve these definitions onto the backs of stolen people, breaking down the strength they chose to profit from. There must have not been enough freedom to go around. As our ancestors and our oracles were shattered on dry ground, as they preached the free will of their white Jesus, there still isn't enough freedom to go around. As guns turned the countries they once stole into disarray, as Africans turned to the people who first whispered sweet nothings in their ears, where are open doors now? We showed them how to carve machetes, and they drove them into our backs when we were kneeled down praying to their God, when we were kneeled down farming for their profit, when we were kneeled down holding the dead bodies of our children who are dead from their diseases. There will never be enough freedom to go around, to clothe us all, to let us all be. And every chance we get to take it back, we hold on to, as if freedom wasn't ours to begin with.